few years back, my aunt suddenly lost her hearing. At first, it was only 50% hearing loss, and then it progressed to a stage where she had to rely on reading lips and understanding gestures. Communicating with her became a challenge for everyone. We increased our volume and used hand gestures. We uttered words with exaggerated mouth movements. This worked only in one-to-one talk. If she was in a group, it was incredibly hard for her to follow the conversations. Learning sign language takes time, and she's already 40 plus, so at this age, trying to learn something new takes even more time. Now, why am I telling this story? Now, this story is important because until this incident happened, I had not really registered the value of accessibility in product design. The first time I started looking for accessible features on a mobile app is when I wanted to include her into conversations. So literally my first choice was to type it out. I would open WhatsApp and I would start typing everything that everybody was saying around her, and then she would have to take the screen and read it. So that was my option number one, just type it out so that she can read it. But obviously this is not the best tool or best way to communicate with her, because by the time I'm typing, it's already slow. People have moved on to different topic, and by the time she has completed the reading, the topics have completely changed. It's a terribly slow process when you're having fast moving conversations. Option number two was using voice notes and memo apps. Now there are multiple apps that do this, but the first thing that popped in my head is basically the voice memo app on my iPhone. So here's what I did. I opened the voice memo app and I started talking into it, and I wanted to see if it can transcribe from me. So I tried with three languages. The one was English, of course. Second was a Hindi language, which is a commonly spoken language in India.
आज मैं सुबह उठी, चाय पिया, नाश्ता किया और काम पे बैठी.
And then third was basically a dialect of another language, so which is my mother tongue, called as Kadodi.
आज मी हाकोटी उठली, चहा पिलो, नाश्ता केलो आणि नंतर कामाला भेट.
Now, while the English transcription was perfect, it was accurate on iPhone, the other two were not even close, and kind of understandable because these languages are not that well known either. But having said that, I did not really expect much from this app either. That was my option 2, and that I thought would be something that I could easily do. And then I moved on to option number 3, where I tried Google Translate app. And this is the choice that I still have when I am in conversations with her. I basically open the Google Translate app and click on the voice button. It starts recognizing the voice and it starts transcribing as well as translating. I do not really need the translation service of Google app. I need the transcribing service. I spoke in English, Marathi, and a dialect of Marathi, which is called Kadodi. While Hindi is commonly spoken in India, Marathi is spoken widely in Maharashtra, which is a state in India. And so I was trying out languages which are not that popular in India as well.
आज दुपारी जेवायला भात, डाळ आणि भाजी बनवली होती. संध्याकाळी मग आम्ही चहा प्यायला आणि नंतर कामाला गेलो. आज आम्ही दोपार जिवेदो धान, डाळ आणि भाजी बनविलती. मग आम्ही हांच्या परा चहा पिलो, मग बार गेले.
So when spoken slowly, the app works really well for English and Marathi, which is interesting and also good because these are the languages that we use at home to communicate. However, when the speech gets a little faster, it cannot really do a good job. The words get missed out or mistranscribed. The accuracy just starts dropping as the conversations become faster in speech, and therefore the words are just missed out. Speaking longer sentences leads the app to automatically adjust the font and size and reduce it. And if you look at this clip, you can understand that as I'm talking more and more sentences into it, the font size gets smaller. When that happens, it becomes very difficult to read, and therefore you get into the same problem of things becoming slow. But here's what I noticed with this Google app. If you speak slowly and clearly, you do get highly accurate transcription as you speak. So that's really good. And it helps her to at least stay in the conversation even if she misses out some of the points here and there. The accuracy in English is actually very good. And I'm surprised that it did a very good job in Hindi and Marathi as well. But if the rate of speech increases slightly, then it makes up some random words and then you just get some garbled text sometimes. So during all this, I made some research notes. Number 1, if there is more than one person in a conversation, correctly identifying each person's voice and detecting their speech individually is important. So that's what you need from an app like that. Since the person with hearing conditions sees the screen, simply seeing a blob of text gives no context of the speaker. And so you are trying to help this person, but at the same time, they do not know who is actually speaking. So for example, if I am saying one sentence and another person says a second sentence, it just comes as a stream of text for her, and it is not understandable who actually spoke that sentence. The speaker chooses the language. This is important to know because in a group of multilingual people, I often saw people switching between 2 or 3 languages. So they would start something in English, then they switch to Marathi and some other language. Now, if the app really does not support it, it cannot really understand what's going on, and therefore the transcription doesn't work. The person feels left out. A person with hearing condition wants to see text as continuous stream of words during an ongoing conversation. It cannot have these pauses, and the person cannot afford to miss out on some text because the app stopped working after, let's say, few sentences. Most conversations have overlapping words from different speakers. That makes it incredibly hard for the app to actually recognize speech, and you also do not understand which speaker is speaking what. During a conversation, most people don't utter every word with same level of clarity, and the speech clarity matters a lot for these apps. That's something that I noticed quite often, is that when we speak at a certain rate, we do not really understand that sometimes we just eat up the words. So, for example, there is a way to say this particular sentence. I am trying to utter every single word. But then I can also say it in a way that you probably know the whole thing, but you are not able to understand what I'm saying. You get that. Some people have a peculiar slur. They have certain speech pattern. They have pauses. They have fillers. They have some noises. And all of that just accounts as noise for such apps. So it gets difficult to understand whether it was an utterance of a word or it was simply a sound like ah. Because a person has to continuously see the screen, they miss out on small moments like smile, laugh, facial expressions. That is something that I felt really odd, that while everybody was looking at each other and talking to each other, my aunt had to simply stare at a screen and keep reading it. So she's actually missing out on all the key moments in that time. Now, I noticed that the above use cases or my research notes are challenges for speech recognition technology. And I started looking at some of the researches that are happening. There are multiple tools that are doing progress in this area, but I feel there should be more. It should be so easy that you don't have to research for it. It's simply there for you whenever you need it. Google's Euphonia project that aims to sample as many speech patterns as possible is particularly interesting. They have some nice videos on YouTube that you should go check it out. They're very interesting. This gave me an idea that what you need for such a person when they are in a conversation is basically an app that just gives you a stream of text but with speaker identification. So for example, let's say there are 3 people in a conversation like John, Mary and Maria. If each person is talking at a time, then they get identified, like John is speaking this, Mary is speaking this. And so that would make it more interesting. So I made some wireframes using Whimsical, trying to put my idea into some sort of a design and trying to see if this would make sense. But I think I should go a step further and probably try one of these AI tools and see if I can create an app like that. I also understand that we don't need yet another app to solve a problem. I wish our existing mobile apps would have this accessible features in such a way that you don't need a new app for it. Until this incident happened, I had not really registered the value of accessibility in product design. It was interesting to see how I took everything for granted until that day when my aunt patiently sat next to me and read the text on the screen. Hearing loss is not an easy thing to live with. I commend every person who is surviving through this pain. I saw accessibility from a totally different lens after this incident. Designing products with empathy and emotion means something entirely different to me now. I don't dismiss accessibility related requirements anymore. So if there is a discussion about making things more accessible, I am for it. I try to bring empathy and emotions to all stages of product development. I also started attending more events around accessibility and inclusivity. And I started doing that here in Amsterdam, and I want to continue doing that. So if you're a product manager and you're discussing things with your product designers and your team, you have to make sure that you are truly designing for everyone. Something that I was not aware of earlier, or I probably was very ignorant of it. In the lieu of making things ship faster, we actually forget that some of the requirements are truly important for product design. And so next time you get into the discussion with your product designer and you try to get the designs out or develop a new product, give it a few minutes and think of making it a tad bit better. That's all I wanted to share about accessibility in product design and product development. Thanks for watching this video.